Welcome to the tutorial for Sector Alpha. In this tutorial I will demonstrate and analyze 3 strategies for this track to help you improve your best time. The strategies that I will demonstrate are meant to be of use to players of all skill levels. I will start with the first basic strategy that will allow any player to beat the Step Ghost. The more difficult strategies will allow even the best players to improve their times. Each strategy is given a difficulty rating to let you know what you're getting yourself into. Each strategy is also given a goal time to work towards before moving on to the next one. This tutorial assumes an understanding of the game's driving mechanics and moves as covered in the driving mechanics and moves tutorial on my channel, so be sure to check that one out first. Okay, let's get started and have fun!
It's a new record!
Sector Alpha is an interesting track. Most of the track you actually spend driving upside down, which also brings some complications, because if you get airborne while you're upside down, you will undoubtedly crash. So be careful going too fast over certain bumps in this track. Most of the track is actually long straights and relatively few corners, so settings tuned high towards top speed really pay off here. So much so that settings close to +7 are the best choice. So much so that settings close towards +7 on the settings gauge are the most optimal. Because the Twin Arita has a high trade-off with settings that high on the settings gauge, heavier ships can achieve the same base speed with settings tuned more towards acceleration. This is one of those tracks where a heavier ship should just a dead anchor, with settings tuned more towards acceleration to achieve the same base speed as very high settings on Twin Arita really pay off. To get good times on Sector Alpha, pay special attention to efficient driving. Keep driving in as many straight lines as possible and minimize your steering. Only very gently steer through corners, but do take them sharp. There are very few sharp corners on this track, so you can take all corners with regular steering. At the start of lap 2, boost 3 times to get your speed up. Keep accelerating and be sure to hold up on the control stick when you exit the half looping, because you're now upside down and if you lift off the track you will certainly crash. Try to maintain your top speed by driving in a straight line. On the following right corner, be very careful to not drive too close to the right side because you can lift off here as well. Be sure to catch the dash plate, and you can take the following left corner with some regular steering as well. That anchor is several hundred kilograms heavier than the Twin Arita, so its turning circle is slightly wider, but it has also significantly more grip. So you can really go for it on a lot of corners with just regular steering. Boost 3 more times after the dash plate boost wears off, and keep driving in a straight line. After the section with high walls, stay on the right side of the following corner, and try to minimize your steering in the process. In the tunnel, be sure to catch the dash plate again, but this time be prepared to go in the right refill strip. The right refill strip is on the outside of the left corner, so your path in the refiller is slightly longer. This means that you lose a little bit of time, but you also gain a little bit more energy back that you can use to make up for the time you lose. Boost as you approach the end of the refill strip and boost once more into lap 3. After the boost wears off, you want to watch your speedometer closely until your speed drops to about 1050 km per hour. Once your speed drops to 1050 km per hour, boost again. This will be at the upper limit that your speed can be without lifting off the track. Be sure to keep holding straight up on the control stick as well to prevent that. Lap 3 is pretty much identical to lap 2 for the most part. Be sure to catch the dash plate in the right corner and steer to the following left corner with some regular steering to take it sharply. Keep on boosting until your energy runs out after the dash plate boost wears off. Pay special attention to keep driving in straight lines on Sector Alpha. After the high wall section, stay on the right side again and try to minimize your steering into the tunnel. Check the dash plate in the tunnel again and aim for the left refill strip because that's the shortest line to finish the race. As soon as the dash plate boost wears off, keep on boosting and drive in a straight line to finish. The Sector Alpha Staff Coast is probably the hardest staff coast to beat with a strategy without any advanced techniques. So be prepared for this. With an optimal boosting strat, good settings, and efficient driving, you can surely do it. So good luck and have fun. Even though Sector Alpha has almost no significant corners, you can win about 2 seconds with a good drifting strategy. To build your speed up, start off with a short left drift with the aid of some side attacks. Then, followed by a long rail drift on the right side. Keep on real drifting all the way up to the following right corner, when your drift will automatically end. Straighten the ship up and keep driving in a straight line until the following right corner. The following two corners are ideal for switch drifting. Start off by drifting right into the rail, catch a dash blade and switch drift to the left, bounce some more into the rail to build your speed up just that little bit more. Extend the drift for as long as you can and then end the drift. These drifts in the middle of the race are essential to build up the speed to carry you through the rest of the lap. When you enter the tunnel, you will have decelerated significantly from the previous drifts. So in the tunnel we can do another drift to build our speed up. Approach the dash blade in the tunnel from all the way right side, do a left side attack and extend your drift over that dash blade for across the full width of the road in the tunnel, to build your speed up just that little bit more. Take the following left corner in the refiller by staying all the way on the left side. Night Thunder has a slightly higher grip than the Hellhawk, so you can surely do it with regular steering. At the start of lap 2, boost 3 times. Also, like the previous strategy, be sure to hold up on the control stick to prevent lifting off. Boost drift into the following right corner and be sure to catch the dash blade and switch drift to the left. You can use the rail for a short rail bounce here, but be careful that you do not lose too much energy. Keep on boosting for 2 more boosts after the dash blade boost wears off. Keep driving in a straight line to try to carry the speed that you got from these drifting sections for as long as possible into the tunnel. In the tunnel, do not use the dash blade for drifting again, because it's not worth the time to set up the drift. But of course, be sure to catch that dash blade. Move to the right side of the road in preparation for the following left corner. Take the right refiller again and try to drive to as much of the refiller as you possibly can to refill your energy meter. As soon as you exit the refill strip, then start boosting for 3 more boosts into lap 3. Also, of course, at this section, be sure to hold up on the control stick to prevent lifting off. Boost drift into the following right corner similarly to how you did it in lap 2. Be sure to catch the dash blade and switch drift to the left. You may want to opt to not bounce into the rail in lap 3 to preserve just a little bit more energy. After the dash blade boost wears off, boost until your energy meter runs out. Because you do not have the amount of energy from lap 2, your speed will be lower when you enter the tunnel. This means that it is actually worth the setup phase now again to do a drift over that dash blade in the middle of the tunnel, so do it over the full width of the road. Then drift into the left refiller and be very careful to not hit the rails. As soon as your energy has refilled a bit, boost to do a full boost drift throughout the refiller. At the end of the refiller, straighten the ship out and finish the race. This is not the easiest drifting strategy, but you can win 2 seconds without doing any really advanced moves. So if you're good at drifting, this is definitely the way to go. Good luck and have fun!
horsepower! Yeah! The final lap! Way to go! It's a new record!
The final strategy on Sector Alpha is an extension of the first jumper strategy with 2 additional double tap dives that you can do. Start off exactly the same as you did on the first strategy, but on the first serious right corner with the dash blade, be prepared for a double tap dive. If you get liftoff from the track at some point, you usually instantly die. However, at certain specific sections, you can actually use the liftoff to your advantage to set up a double tap dive to gain a massive speed boost. On the right corner leading up to the first dash blade, be prepared to travel to the far right side of the track. The more parallel you can position the ship to the rail, the easier it will be to land back on the track after a double tap dive. On the first lap specifically, hold down on the control stick to initiate liftoff. Double tap Z and immediately move the control stick via the down left position to the up left position to double tap dive Z back down to the track below. Gradually move the control stick to the straight up position for the most optimal double tap dive. If you did a good dive, you can land in about the middle of the road again. Align your ship in a straight line up to the high walled section up ahead. For the most experienced players that can really do great double tap dives, you can do an additional dive at the end of the tunnel. Be sure to catch your dash blade and move to the right side. Then near the end of the tunnel, steer left sharply and collision course with the wall. But right before hitting it, hold straight down on the control stick, double tap R and move the control stick via the down right to the right and up right position to position the ship in the perfect double tap diving angle for a double tap dive Z back down to the track below. Hold straight up on the control stick while mashing the Z button and move the control stick gradually to the slightly up left position to steer the ship back down to the track below and land at the start of the refiller. If you can land in the left rail, you can extend your dive for the longest, so that is just for optimization purposes. If you did that tunnel dive and you did it well, do not boost at the start of lap 2, because you will be going too fast, so you will lift off the track at this section of track here. So when your speed drops to about 1050 kilometers, you can start your boost again. Boost once. At the following right corner, be prepared for another double tap dive Z back down to the track below, just like you did in lap 1. However, you are going faster now, so you can skip the dash blade and you do not need to hold down on the control stick. Just be prepared in the up left position on the control stick and start mashing the Z button as soon as you have lift off. As soon as you land back on the track, start boosting and keep on boosting all the way up to the dash blade in the tunnel, in preparation for another double tap dive to land in the refiller. This tunnel dive will be significantly easier in lap 2 and 3 because you can preserve your speed much better with manual boosting. Set up the dive and do the dive exactly like described in the first lap, but be prepared that this dive is very difficult to get right. Again, at the start of lap 3, do not boost because you're going way too fast at this point that you cannot maintain over the next section of track. Boost once your speed has dropped down enough. Prepare for this double tap dive just like you did in the previous lap. Now keep on boosting all the way up to the dash plate in the tunnel. just use up all your energy to try to preserve as much speed as possible. Be very careful of this section, and when the high walls end, stay on the right side of the road, next to that white line in the middle of the track. If you're on the left side of the road, you can get lift off there and it's impossible to land back on the track. Do the double tap dive out of the tunnel and keep on boosting to finish the race. You can do a cool suicide finish as well, because you can get lift off at the end of the refiller. You can use this lift off to fly over the rail and dive down to finish the race. Be careful to not dive down too much, because if you hit the kill plane before finishing the race, that will be a waste of course. I suggest when learning this strategy that the double tap dive out of the tunnel is completely optional. Initially skip that one. Just do the big double tap dive in the middle of the race and you can already win a significant amount of time over the previous strategy. You can even get sub 1 minute times, theoretically at least. Start adding in the tunnel dive as soon as your middle double tap dives are really fast, so you can get the lift off much easier. Especially in the first lap, getting lift off out of the tunnel is very tricky. So, good luck with this strategy and have fun.